Arsenal are making their moves in a transfer window that Mikel Arteta sees as defining. Today we have an important update as we break down Arsenal's offer for Declan Rice. We'll also find out about an agreement with Kai Havertz, discuss the reported interest in Romeo Lavia, a revealed offer for Moussa Diaby, and break down Arsenal's route to a potential Premier League title. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Babs14, welcome back to your boys channel. I hope you guys are doing sensational. Arsenal's transfer window is starting to take shape, bids are flying in left, right and centre. So as per, smash a like on the video if you enjoy, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and help your boy on his road to 200,000 subscribers. But let's start off with the future of Folarin Balogun. Arsenal's 21-year-old USA superstar in the making, tore up Liga in his first season. 21 league goals in total, he was only behind the likes of Kylian Mbappe, ahead of the likes of Lionel Messi. Out of contract in 2025, his Arsenal future is uncertain. Balogun is very ambitious. He wants to be a starter week in week out, against the idea of another loan. With Gabriel Jesus the potential arrival of a new forward, I don't think he'll be a starter at Arsenal next season. And according to Sky Sports News, Inter Milan are interested in Folarin Balogun and are expected to formalise their approach. Inter are about to lose Romelu Lukaku, whose loan's about to expire. They have got an aging Edin Dzeko. It's no surprise why they have identified Balogun. The concern I have though is Italian clubs are very hard to negotiate with. These guys always love a loan with an obligation to buy. Arsenal need to be stern. They need to understand the value of Balogun in the current market. How many strikers of his age have scored his amount of goals, have showcased his level of quality? According to Ryan Taylor, Crystal Palace have also joined the race for Folarin Balogun and have already asked for information of the player. Arsenal need more teams interested. This will cause a bidding war, because ask yourselves the question, if Arsenal were looking to sign a player like Balogun, he would easily cost us upwards of £50 million. But what about the future of Eddie Nketiah, who signed a brand new contract last season, was given the Arsenal number 14 and a massive contract, but only made 9 starts in the Premier League last season. 4 goals in total. He deputised in the absence of Gabriel Jesus. But with Mikel Arteta looking for more forwards, he's already got a fantastic number 9 in Gabriel Jesus. At 24 years of age, does Eddie Nketiah want to remain on the Arsenal bench? You also have to look at the end of last season. At times Mikel seemed reluctant to throw Nketiah onto the pitch, despite Arsenal needing a goal. There were a lot of teams after Nketiah before he signed that brand new contract. Don't be surprised if another Premier League club tries to approach the player this summer. Arsenal centre-back William Saliba is enjoying himself on holiday. Here he is, dripped out to the max, looking like a model in Mykonos. Him getting a brand new contract was a priority for Arsenal going into this window, and my friends, it's time to get excited. As Fabrizio Romano confirms, documents approved, details fixed, William Saliba will sign a new long-term deal at Arsenal. Here we go. Understand Saliba will put pen to paper when he returns from holidays. The new deal is until June 2027 with an option till 2028. Essentially a new 5-year contract. This, my friends, is the definition of gargantuan. A sign that Arsenal have changed their ways. The introduction of Richard Garlick is paying dividends. Arsenal are finally being proactive, and at the start of the window, they have already secured the futures of Gabriel Martinelli, Bukayo Saka and William Saliba. Arsenal have learnt from the mistakes. The departures of Cesc Fabregas, Alexis Sanchez. When you've got an exciting project like Arsenal do, the excitement of working alongside Mikel Arteta, these players were always going to commit to the Emirates Stadium. The future of Martin Odegaard is next up, and the man himself has spoken, saying, "I'm very happy at Arsenal and I hope to stay here for a long time. Let's see on the contract situation after the summer. I didn't speak to Arsenal, it's not on me honestly, no rush, my contract is still long." That contract expires in 2025, but Arsenal don't want to wait. Having secured the future of most of their important first teamers, he is going to get a massive wage increase, but you also have to understand, despite Saka and Saliba getting massive deals, there is not a single Arsenal player on a superstar wage, which I categorise above £300,000 a week. But what about the future of the Arsenal manager, who is attracting interest? According to reports in France, PSG sporting advisor Luis Campos has held talks with Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta, but is pessimistic about a deal. Mikel Arteta is a former PSG player. The link is certainly there. Is it a surprise that they want Mikel Arteta, one of the best young managers in the world? At Arsenal, he has built an elite system, and that is why they are players that have struggled elsewhere, the likes of Jorginho, but thrived in his Arsenal system. But Arteta is not going to PSG. Not only is it not a good managerial fit, with Arteta being a disciplinarian, he would not suit the egos of PSG. He needs players that are humble and willing to learn. More importantly, he's also very happy at Arsenal. He signed a brand new contract last season. He's got the backing of the ownership, a connection with the fan base. This is where I see Arsenal being proactive once again. Do not be surprised if in the near future we hear talks over a new Arteta contract. Ilkay Gundogan is another player that Arsenal are trying to sign. Man City have officially confirmed the player has been released. 304 City appearances, 60 goals and 40 assists. A Premier League proven winner, a Champions League winner, a treble winner and a captain. It would be silly for Arsenal not to be after him. Now City do want to keep him. They have offered a 1-year contract extension, but it seems like Gundogan wants a different project. According to Bild, he has turned down a long-term offer to return to Borussia Dortmund and would prioritise a move to Barcelona or Arsenal instead. Clubs in Saudi have also made their interest clear to the player. However, there is nothing concrete yet. I still believe Barca are the prime favourites, but if they can't get a deal over the line, Arsenal will be there waiting. A contract offer will be on the table. Mikel Arteta clearly identifies the experience of Gundogan as very important, especially in the Champions League. Arsenal have not been there for over 6 years. Gundogan is a man that understands that environment. 3 Champions League finals, 1 Champions League win. Imagine how much the Arsenal players could learn from him, improve from his mentality. Man City also have other players departing, with Kyle Walker reportedly also considering his future. Fabrizio Romano confirms he is a concrete target for Bayern Munich. You've also got uncertainties over the future of Aymeric Laporte, Bernardo Silva. These are all important experienced players that have won many titles at City. If these guys do leave, it could impact Arsenal in a positive way. Of course they can sign fantastic players, but will those players have the same level of experience? Gundogan and Walker are important parts behind the scenes at City. Look at how Guardiola turned to them in the run-in this season. If they do leave, will there be a drop-off? Moving on to the saga of Declan Rice. This is Arsenal's main target, a club record signing in the making. They have been negotiating for months on end. Personal terms reportedly already agreed, and the opening offer has been made. But as Fabrizio Romano confirms, Arsenal's opening bid for Declan Rice has been rejected immediately by West Ham. Sources guarantee the total value of the proposal was £80 million, not enough to convince West Ham. Man City informed on the Rice deal, but Arsenal remain favourites. They are expected to bid again. The important part of it is the guaranteed amount of £80 million. Including add-ons, the offer is closer to 90. But as Sky Sports confirmed, one source has described the structure of Arsenal's opening bid as embarrassing. This is where we need to be very careful. Of course West Ham are going to brief the media. They will try to downplay the Arsenal offer because these guys want as much money as possible. Using words like embarrassing is trying to force Arsenal's hands. The interest of Man City has concerned many fans, but I believe this is also West Ham playing tactics, throwing other teams in the race, once again trying to force Arsenal's hands. This is a common tactic used in transfer windows, and Man City have their own targets. As Fabrizio Romano confirms, they are in direct talks to sign Mateo Kovacic, and more importantly in terms of the player. As the reliable ex-West Ham employee confirms, Rice is aware of City's interest but favours a move to Arsenal, having seen his England teammate Calvin Phillips go to City and struggle to get starts. Rice is a top player, of course Man City would want him, but the Arsenal project suits him more, in terms of being a star player, in terms of working alongside Mikel Arteta. Fabrizio Romano confirms that Arsenal have significantly advanced on Declan Rice's personal terms in the last few days. That is why Arsenal will bid again to find a solution with West Ham. £80 million was never going to be enough to convince West Ham, as they hope for more than £100 million to sell Rice. Arsenal are aware that Rice is very expensive, but they want that carbohydrate. As Team News and Ticks confirms, the second offer for Declan Rice has been submitted. That offer is even more expensive. Sammy Mockbell confirms the bid is worth £100 million and it's imminent. Mikel Arteta believes Rice wants to join Arsenal as West Ham hope for a bidding war. This is where I want to see Arsenal show their ability now to close deals. We have missed out on too many main targets in the past. The likes of Mykhailo Mudryk is a prime example. Arsenal dillied and dallied for too long, and when you have top players on the market, other teams are always looking to hijack. The key part to the next offer is going to be the structure. How much of that money is going to be upfront? Will it be enough for West Ham? The future of Moses Caicedo is also developing. It has been Arsenal versus Chelsea, and it seems like the blue side are taking steps ahead. The price tag is very important. This is where we have some contrasting reports, with some claim that Arsenal have withdrawn their interest in Caicedo because Brighton are looking for more than £80 million, which Chelsea are willing to pay, while the Gunners with their priority have Declan Rice, would pay more than £100 million and hence cannot pay the fee requested by Brighton for Caicedo. But then you also have other reports. Sky Sports News claiming Arsenal are still keeping an eye on Caicedo, contrary to reports that they have pulled out of the race. Arsenal will be watching, but Chelsea are the ones advancing. According to David Ornstein, they even saw a £60 million offer for Caicedo rejected 2 weeks ago. They do admire him, but intend to be disciplined with their valuation. That report there is pretty ironic. When Arsenal made a similar one in January, so many Brighton reporters were calling us embarrassing, but now that it's Chelsea, No one seems to care. But as Fabrizio Romano confirms, Chelsea have decided to submit another official proposal for Moses Caicedo next week. Direct talks will take place with Brighton in order to get the deal done. Agreement on personal terms is at a very advanced stage. The deal is nowhere near completion. Chelsea still need to agree a fee. Then it goes to Arsenal. And how far are they willing to go? Is it above the £80 million valuation? Arsenal also have other midfield targets. According to Jacob Steenberg, Arsenal are now targeting Romeo Lavia to rebuild the midfield alongside Declan Rice. The player is valued at £45 million. This interest is genuine and Lavia is on the radar. Sacha Tavaleri claims the agent of Lavia, Emeka Obasi, is growing in persuasive power inside Arsenal after Bukayo Saka's extension, and that could give Arsenal an edge in the negotiations. Lavia has the same agent as Bukayo Saka, Folarin Balogun and Eddie Nketiah. Arsenal clearly have an established relationship. This guy has a very intriguing profile. He's not quite Caicedo in terms of an inverted right back or being a duel-winning monster, despite being of a very decent standard. Lavia excels more in terms of pass selection. We've seen it at the Emirates Stadium. Very composed under pressure. That is a profile that Arsenal do need to add to their team. As we saw in the games against Man City, when they were pressing us at the Etihad, our midfield wasn't able to play out. With Arsenal looking to sign more than one midfielder, you can see why Lavia is of interest. But what do you guys make of the player? Arsenal also want to sign a new wide forward, and according to Fabrice Hawkins, Arsenal and Newcastle are keen on signing Bayer Leverkusen's Moussa Diaby, a tier 1 source in France confirming that Arsenal are there for the player. You also have Loic Tanzi, who says in recent weeks Arsenal have overtaken Newcastle for the signing of Moussa Diaby. Arsenal have followed Diaby for a long time. According to RMC Sports, Arsenal submitted an offer for Moussa Diaby in the final day of the last summer transfer window and remain keen on signing the Frenchman. The waters have been tested and Arsenal have laid groundworks, and it's about time we get our star boy some support, who is currently busy on international duties with England. He was starting once again against Malta, and this time he was taken off with an injury. Involved in all 38 of Arsenal's league games last season, this guy needs a rest. Diaby would give Arsenal rotation, but Mikel Arteta would also need to be brave. That is because Diaby would not come to Arsenal to simply sit on the bench. Arteta loves Bukayo, but at times when he's not working out, if he has a Diaby-like profile available, he needs to be ruthless enough to throw him in. What is happening though in the saga of Kai Havertz? The surprise Arsenal target of the window, things are taking shape, and according to Fabrizio Romano, Havertz has given the green light to Arsenal's contract bid after positive indications. No problems on personal terms. Arsenal and Chelsea are in contact. No chance for £75 million, and Chelsea will be flexible. Bayern are informed but still quiet. Real Madrid are 100% out of the race. The reason why Havertz has given the green light is because he has agreed terms with Arsenal. He is very keen on working alongside Mikel Arteta, and Arsenal themselves really aren't waiting about, as reports confirm that Arsenal are set to submit a £55 million offer for Kai Havertz. The player is convinced by Mikel Arteta's vision. That offer has been made, but as Matt Law confirms, Chelsea have turned down the opening bid from Arsenal for Kai Havertz. Chelsea face a dilemma over whether or not they can hold out for the asking price of £70 million. The fact that Arsenal have made it in the first place so soon after starting negotiations, it shows how serious they are in wanting the player. According to Ryan Taylor, Arsenal are set to make an improved offer for Kai Havertz. The important date here is June the 30th. Chelsea reportedly have an FFP deadline, and that might require them to sell players. Now they are negotiating the sales of Mateo Kovacic and Mason Mount, but if those players aren't to leave, they may be forced to sell Havertz. A lot of Arsenal fans remain unconvinced over the profile, but Havertz does have a host of very important cosigns. With Thierry Henry saying last season, Havertz reminds him of Robert van Persie. Florian Plettenberg has been told Arsenal is very confident to sign both Rice and Havertz, despite the fact that Chelsea have rejected the first offer. Arteta is pushing for Havertz. Arsenal are in advanced stages for both players. So far, no Bayern offer. Arsenal are planning the next steps. Bayern's next transfer meeting is scheduled next week. Why is Mikel Arteta pushing so hard for Kai Havertz? I think that Arsenal might be evolving once again, as we have done in every single window since Arteta has signed, whether it's Havertz as a false nine, or more likely behind Gabriel Jesus, alongside Martin Odegaard. If they can sign Declan Rice, and when you've got Thomas Partey, they will have two elite defensive midfielders, allowing room for extra attackers in the final third. This is more though than a position. Mikel Arteta has said in the past that football is becoming more and more specific. Roles are becoming more and more important than the actual starting position, and the prime example of that is the inverted fullback. Havertz is not an elite goal scorer, but he is very decent between the lines, and that's where Mikel Arteta might be seeing a new role for him somewhere in this Arsenal team. According to Matt Law, Arsenal are willing to match Kai Havertz's current wage of £250,000 a week for the player to join them. It looks like Mikel Arteta sees something that we don't even see. He has proved us wrong wrong in the past. The likes of Ramsdale are prime examples. If we are to get Havertz over the line, this could be a defining signing for Arteta in a positive or a negative way. What do you guys think Mikel Arteta sees? And where do you think a Kai Havertz would play? Moving on to the other Arsenal news today. Arsenal have confirmed some new departures, as the likes of Matt Smith alongside Ainsley Maitland-Niles have officially been released. What could have been for Maitland-Niles playing as their inverted right back, we'll never know, but Arsenal now need to enter a ruthless stage. We don't have any more Europa League football, and next year in the Champions League, there's less opportunities for these players. The Arsenal fixtures for next season have also been confirmed. Our opening match being against Nottingham Forest at the Emirates Stadium, 12:30 UK time kickoff, Saturday, August 12th. To start on a home game is fantastic, and our opening 7 includes games against Palace away, Fulham at home, United at home, Everton away, Tottenham at home, and Bournemouth away. Arsenal need to use August and September to build momentum. The games there are definitely winnable, and it all leads up to a very important game in October, a home game against Man City. The months of December as well as March definitely stand out as difficult. You also have the run-in, the final games of the season, where Arsenal will have away games against Brighton, Spurs, and Man United. The fact that Arsenal have so many of their home games against big teams in the first half of the season could be to our advantage or even disadvantage, with the difficult away games towards the end of the season. Ultimately, Arsenal play 38 games, each team twice, and who knows, if things go to plan, they will hope that in their final home game of the season against Everton, they will be lifting a Premier League title. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of his social medias, then the links are down below in the description. But that was the latest episode of the Transfers FC. Offers for Declan Rice and Kai Havertz. Arsenal are definitely surprising, so stay tuned as we find out what happens next. Until then, take care and a bit.